President Obama. Well, we've taken a look right there at the White House, and how appropriate, because we're talking about the White House and the man in it right now. President Obama says there were exceptional circumstances that led him to release the Bush-era memos on interrogation tactics.
His decision to release the documents has triggered a political firestorm in Washington. Congressman Bilbray joined us now in studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
So, your thoughts on this?
Well, I think it shows how close we came to another 9/11. It really is sort of sobering. We've sort of taken this for granted, but it really is scary now when you look at the fact that this case showed, which a lot of people are not talking about, 3 people who sort of taunted our intelligence people that, look, we know what's going to happen, you can't do anything about it, and you're going to get you. They really put these guys under the hourglass, and under the spotlight, and really kind of worked on it. It ended up coming out that a major building in LA was going to be hit, and it was a place where thousands of Americans could have been killed. So it's one of those things that I think we all knew happened, but we didn't know the details. Now the details are coming out.
There's a lot of concern by conservatives that by releasing some of this information, it is going to take the next step, and that is prosecuting some of the Bush-era administration officials that were involved in this, that advised in this.
Well, the real fear is that not just what happens in Washington, but telling the terrorists exactly how we got this information, what it took or whatever. You got to understand, this concept of waterboarding, we actually put our troops through this example because it's sort of a basic around the world. So it is one of those concerns. A lot of people talk about the torture problem, but even our troops are exposed to this, many of them. But I think the biggest issue is this prosecution issue is really playing to the most extreme, because the most rational people will say that under a situation when someone says, we're going to attack you and you can't do it. See, it's different than somebody that you don't know if they know anything, if you don't think that you may think that they have information. This one, in these 3 cases, and was pointed out quite clearly, these guys admitted and flaunted that I've got information that's going to kill thousands of Americans and you can't do anything about it. And that is quite a different situation.
So is this an example of the transparency should not be in government? Is this the part of you think that should remain, under...
Well, look, at a time of war, and we're still under a state of war from the terrorist point of view, there are things that FDR, some of the greatest presidents in the country, Abraham Lincoln, didn't want the other guys to know about what you were doing. And I think that we need to know that there are things going on, there are these situations. And I just have to say that with all the outrage now, members of Congress were briefed on this issue. Were brought up to these issues, and there were people in the intel committees that were involved with it. I wasn't in Congress at the time, but I darn well am not going to second guess the members of Congress or the administration when they have knowledge that the attack was imminent and didn't do anything. Think about the flip side. What if thousands of people in LA were killed and it got out that the administration had somebody who told them that he had the information about the attack, and they did not do what it takes to get that information to protect or to foil this issue?
Still, there's plenty of people in Washington, and one of them, Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Patrick Leahy, he's actually calling for a special commission to investigate these people, the severe interrogation methods and how people approve those. Do you think that's going to open up a can of worms?
Well, I think the can of worms is he's not talking about the people that actually did the procedure. He's talking about the lawyers.
Right.
He's talking about people who gave a legal definition, and he's going to go. Not that I'm not for going after lawyers. Oh, we can. I got 2 older brothers who are lawyers, and they used to beat me up when I was little. But this is a situation where to go after lawyers because they gave you a legal definition that you now, years later, don't like.
Right.
Boy, if that's a precedent, we got all kinds of people in the legal profession I'd love to go after.
All right, a couple other items going on in Washington, and something we talked about this morning.